all the fans of WLW. Y'all keep on supporting this organization because they're going to be the next big thing.
World League Wrestling in memory of Harley Race.
Over before it started.
And new World League Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
He has Stefan in his corner.
Ooh, 2.0. World League Wrestling. This is where sports entertainment stops. This is where pro wrestling will always live.
Welcome, everyone, to WLW Amplify. I'm CT Harrison, along with my cohort in crime, Martin Kadich.
Hey, how's it going, CT?
Another Sunday,
Another show.
But today, a little bit different. Today, we're going to be talking with one of the WLW fans, one of the fans that's actually one of our hardcore fans.
Right. What we call super fans.
Super fans. Sarge is in the house.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good. That's all you got? Just good afternoon, gentlemen?
That's how I always start things off with.
Okay. All right. Must be the Army in you.
Low keel.
Okay.
Low keel.
Okay.
Attention to detail.
Okay. Hurry up and wait. Want to thank our great sponsors at World League Wrestling. Who do we have? Jim Trenary Ford in Moscow Mills, Jim Trenary Chevrolet in Troy, Impact Digital Designs,
Traveling East Productions, and CT Harrison Business Solutions.
There it is. And I found $20 in my laundry today, and that helped out too. The streaming
See how
costs.
that works.
So, Austin is here. Corey's listening. Hello, everybody. It's good to have you. I'm glad everybody's here. We're going to talk everything WLW and wrestling today with Sarge. So, why don't you tell everybody who you are, first of all?
Well, my name is Les Phillips. Everybody calls me Sarge. And I've been watching professional wrestling since I was 5 years old. So it's been a long journey of watching different stuff, different things, getting into different stuff. And when I was 18, I actually went into the military and was in the military for 22 years. And a little bit later, I'll share some stories with you guys about how wrestling has totally affected my life.
You know, it's funny you say that because wrestling affects everybody a little bit differently. Everybody's got their own, wrestling story to tell and what got them in wrestling, what made them a fan, what kept them a fan, what keeps them a fan today, and that type of thing. Everybody's got a story. Do you want to kick off? You got anything?
I mean, it's a pretty common story for me with wrestling. I seen the place here in Troy, Missouri. I happened to be living here. I had moved up here, didn't really know anybody. Found out that they were having an open house. I came up to the open house, and I was really excited to come up and meet Harley Race. And, we were there for a few minutes. We'd walked around the ring. I was showing my youngest son the belts and the ring, and Harley come walking through, and I just froze. I mean, it wasn't that meet the big famous guy and be a geeky fan that jumps all over the place and acts dumb. I just literally froze, and my wife got his attention and got him over talking to me, and I talked to him for a few minutes and offered up to help.
Right.
Just around the place. And ended up getting the job of getting people parked in the parking lot just fine. And I took it way more seriously than I probably should have. I took pride in getting people parked where they could get in and out at any time. And slowly that evolved to me seeing the wrestlers in off times and asking about how I could get involved in wrestling as a referee. And went to the classes, did the training. The referees at World League Wrestling, they don't just train to be a referee. They train the same things as the wrestlers do. And you get a better respect for what you're officiating when you've actually been through a lot of the stuff that the other guys go through too. So, and lo and behold, look at me now.
Right. Yeah. Look at you now.
That's the thing, though. I think for a lot of us, it all starts with a moment of awe.
Yeah, that is true. I know for me, growing up, wrestling was always in our household. My dad was a huge wrestling fan. So we, Saturday nights, I think it was, didn't matter what I did throughout the week, what kind of a little jerk I was, what kind of crap I pulled. For an hour out of the week, my dad and I were best friends, and it was over wrestling. And it was guys like, and Harley Race was at the very top of that mountain at that time when Dad and I were fans together when I was young. You had Harley and Dusty and oh my gosh, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, all those guys, that's what I grew up on, and it made such a bond, and that's why wrestling gets important to us. I think there's if you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan because you have a personal attachment to it in some way.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, I was born in Kansas City. My mom had remarried, moved over here to St. Louis, to North St. Louis in Hazelwood. And every summer and every holiday, we would go back to Kansas City to visit family and whatnot. And my grandfather was the one that actually got me started wrestling when I was 5 years old. And again, like you were saying, watching Harley Race, watching Dusty Rhodes, watching Terry Funk, the Briscoes battle out with the young bloods, and it just, that list kept going on and on and on. And from there, it opened up a huge world of professional wrestling.
But what brought you to? You've been, for those of you that have been to the shows on a regular basis, the guys that sit out there and do the tailgate party a couple hours before the show and everything, with the barbecue and the chicken and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's Sarge. That's Sarge and Alex.
Yes.
And what brought you to World League Wrestling? Why World League Wrestling?
Well, I go back like almost 17 years for this one. Back in 2001, I made the decision to go into the regular Army. Because before that, I was doing Missouri National Guard stuff, and I was getting deployed to all kinds of different places. But, during that time, jobs were hard to come by, so I decided to go regular Army to feed my family. And when I went to Iraq, I had taken all of my VHS tapes that I had from the previous 15 years or so and converted everything to DVDs. And one of the last ones that I had gotten, a friend of mine had sent me a tape of World Legion Wrestling, which is now World League Wrestling.
Right.
And so I took all those with me over to Iraq. And the first night that we went into Iraq, I pulled out my portable DVD player at the time, grabbed his DVD out, and threw it in. And the first one that I grabbed out was World Legion Wrestling. And the match that stood out to me the most that night was Miss Natural Heather Patera against Heather Savage. And watching that, it brought my anxiety levels and my stress levels and everything that we were going through down to a level to where I could maintain. And that kept me alive the entire time that I was over in Iraq. Night one was that. Night two was watching Starrcade 83, of course, with the main event of Harley Race against Ric Flair.
Right.
How much better can you get than that, really, honestly?
Classic.
And then
Classic.
And then the third night was Night of the Skywalkers with the Road Warriors against Midnight Express up on that 25-foot high scaffolding.
Yeah.
And, from there, went back to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where I was stationed with the 2nd and 101st Airborne HUA. And from there, just going from station to station, taking everything with me, all these DVDs and stuff, just watching all this professional wrestling, keeping me at a maintainable level to where I could do my job. And then when I got out in 2011, going through some things, found out that World League Wrestling was still going on, and went to my first show in 2013 in Richmond, Missouri. And I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked.
So your first show was in Richmond.
Yes, it was.
And it's funny. That's funny you say that, because Richmond is like gold to us in World League Wrestling. Richmond that's like our that's our home away from home.
Yes, it is.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, when we go, if you've ever been to a Richmond show, the house is packed.
Always packed. The house is always
professional
electric.
Wrestling, and they don't get enough of it.
Yeah, they
and
really
I wish
don't.
we could get over there more. We started to, and then this whole COVID thing happened, and then WLW had to kind of stop production for a while and having events because of COVID. And we're just now getting back to that, which I guess is a pretty good segue to talk about, the effects of COVID. When you found out, I mean, how did you feel when you found out that World League Wrestling was not going to have any shows for a while?
Honestly, I was crushed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like everything came to a stop. Everything came to a standstill. And it was like, oh my gosh, are we going to lose this? I don't want to lose this. This has been part of my life for so long that, honestly, for the first couple of weeks, my anxiety levels and stress levels were high. I didn't know. Nobody knew any answers.
Yeah.
And this thing was taking holding and ruining so many lives that it's heartbreaking.
A lot of businesses had to close their doors during COVID.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky at World League Wrestling that we maintained our to keep going. I can really attribute that, I guess, to, one huge major team effort on the part of not just World League Wrestling in its as an entity, not World League Wrestling as in the front office staff or World League Wrestling, the performers, but it was really a huge team effort. But in this case, what kept us going too and gave us a whole lot of strength was the World League Wrestling fans would not let us go.
Yeah, I mean, we started Amplify while
we did.
The doors were closed, and
which is the reason which is the exact reason we started this program was because the doors were closed, but we wanted to stay in touch with the fans.
That's right. We wanted to get that interaction and kind of give people something to talk about on a Sunday afternoon when we weren't doing it on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And it was a major relief too to hear that you guys were about to start this. Man,
it kind of gives. I would hope it gives the fan. I hope it gave the fans hope that
absolutely
they're not stopping. They're not quitting. They're gonna they're doing this, so that means they're hanging in there. They're gonna continue to keep moving, and
through it all, we've always stayed ready and prepared for opening back up too.
Yeah,
we're looking, always looking for ways that we can put on shows for the great fans that we have,
which we were able to do. We actually were able to have a show in the arena, which was a good show with great turnout, and luckily that ended up healthy and everybody was good, no problems. Oh yes, actually, speaking of Richmond there, it's we have a lot of great fans there, and one of those great fans, Jeff, had passed away in Richmond.
Jeff Fanning.
Yeah, And
What a guy, man.
dude was always there to help, set up, tear down, everything. He did anything that was asked of him, and did it with a smile. It was always just the nicest guy. So rest in peace, Jeff. We will miss you.
100%.
Absolutely.
He might have done more to help than we'd even ask him. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. And, it speaks for all of Richmond, but especially for Jeff. He would do more than he was asked for.
Yeah. And again, well, and I heard from the office staff, and I think it was announced that the next show in Richmond will be for Jeff. So
That's a
that'll be
wonderful
fun.
That's going to be a special night.
Check this out. Jason is listening to us, and he's a fan all the way from Phoenix.
Well, you guys, again, it
Hello,
shouldn't
Jason.
be a
Thanks for-
surprise, honestly, that World League Wrestling has fans all over this country and really all over the world, too, honestly, because
Listening
World
to
League
us on
Wrestling
YouTube, actually.
does it like it's supposed to be done.
Agreed. But, again, that's attributed to a great staff, great fans, and our roster. Great roster of talent. Very, very, God, I can't say enough how talented and athletic these guys are. I'm not, and I'll get into some, I'm going to get into some why I like World League Wrestling so much. I've been a WWE, TNA, all those guys, I've watched them all throughout the years. But once I got to World League Wrestling, I found that for the most part on Mondays and on during Raw or SmackDown or even AEW now, I find myself doing it. I fast forward through a lot of stuff just to get the storyline and learn the storylines and just keep up with those because I'm just not into it. And I got to thinking, why? What is the difference here? What is the difference? Why? Well, I think what the difference is the production. The watching it on TV is so, for most of these shows, is so overproduced with the glitz and the glam and everything that, man, just being in the Raw arena live or just a Raw shoot of wrestling where you're like, we're filming and you produce it that way. I think it's being down in the bleachers. You know what I mean? I think that's the difference. And that's why
Big time.
Going to a WLW show and filming at ringside like I do is so exciting and I'm so into it more than I am the big shows, the national shows, because
Well, here's another thing.
you're right there.
There's a word that I attribute with World League Wrestling and everything that goes along with it, and that word is hunger or hungry. And you can see that in the wrestlers when they're competing with each other. They're hungry every single time. You don't see anybody getting complacent. They're always hungry to step it up and to step up to the next level. The fans of World League Wrestling are always hungry to get in the door and see what's coming out next. It's just it's everybody involved in that deal that just makes it a must. It's must see.
Yeah. I think and I want to mention this because when we talk about a live show, I want to go ahead and throw this out there real quick again. On the 29th of this month, I don't know what happened there.
I can tell you that part of it for me with the difference between like the AEW product or the NXT product or the WWE product, any of the products that are on TV. The one thing that gets kind of muddled with all of the show and the glitz and stuff that CT was talking about is the fact that you got highly trained athletes fighting for positioning. And that's World League Wrestling.
What I was trying to do, and I wasn't able to get it up. I've got it now, but on the 29th of this month, we will be live at McDinger's Bar and Grill in Eolia, just north of Troy, right next to if you're heading north from Troy and you get off, go over the overpass, over the highway, and on the right-hand side, you'll see the truck stop, and McDinger's is right there on the hill. You can't miss it. You turn in like you're going to the truck stop and head right on straight to McDinger's. And they built this really great patio out on the side. And Alex, what's up, buddy? Alex Med's here. We'll get to you in a minute. Really great big patio, and they've been having some live music events out there. So on the 29th, we will be there live, and we will be taping for TV that night as well. So you don't want to miss that.
That's going to be a great event too. With McDinger's, I've been there several times to eat dinner, lunch, and they've got great food, great drinks there, and that's a great outdoor venue for World League Wrestling to go to. And you're in an area where so many people can actually come and have fun while still practicing social distancing outside. And that's a big thing still right now, is the social distancing. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, CT was just saying, you were just saying, they get bands and everything. And you talk about bands coming in and tearing the roof off of a joint. But since we've announced the show, and a little bit before that, because a lot of us knew we were trying to get up there, that's exactly what we're looking to do, is go up there and tear the roof off the joint.
Yep.
We're looking to put on the best show they've had. And I know a little bit about what's going on, and I think we got a really good inside chance of doing that. It's a great show, and as soon as we can start bragging about what we can start bragging about it,
yeah,
I'm going to sit here and brag about it, and you're not going to know what I'm bragging about.
I'm gonna throw it up there one more time, just so everybody can see it one more time on there. Look at that. You got Sean Patrick and all those guys. Man, can you beat that?
Austin
you really can't.
Montallo says he's starving right now. Well, you could always take your butt right on up to McDinger's and get one of them pork loin sandwiches, man.
There you go. There you go.
They've got some good ones too, man. It's good food up there.
Alex Med popped in there, and Alex, of course, is your partner in crime.
Yes, he is.
When
he
it
is
comes
my partner.
To you do another show. You want to?
Sure.
I'll let you do a little push on that.
Okay, sure. On Saturday mornings, from 10 to 11 here Central Time, myself and Alex Med, along with Real Rock Turbrock and General Rick Patton, we do a show called Inside the Squared Circle, where we talk about everything professional wrestling and all the issues that come along with that. So it's a lot of fun. We have a great time doing it. We've been doing it for about a year and a half now. So.
Oh, cool. Great. And one more time, the day and the time?
It's on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. to 11, and that's on KYRO 105.3 FM, 1280 a.m.
All right. Thank you. And Alex will try to get in here hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah.
And talk with him.
Looking
He's another super fan.
too.
He's got some great stories as well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking of great fans with great stories, and, what you usually put in the chat to ask the wrestlers, you like to do top fives.
Sure.
So you've been around, watching, and aware of World League Wrestling even longer than I have.
Mm-hmm.
What are your top 5 moments in World League Wrestling?
Oh man, that really is a tough question.
I know. I put you on the spot like that, but I do.
It is a tough question, and it is on the spot. One of the matches that I saw from my first Troy visit here was one Leyland Race going up against Ace Steel for the heavyweight title.
Both are immaculate athletes.
I'm telling you what.
Ace Steel actually continues in the business as a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Yeah, you are correct on that. But they both tore the house down. Yeah. I mean, it was just an amazing match. And it was one of those type of matches until the end, you didn't know how it was going to go because they were both doing 110%. I mean, it was just back and forth. But that would be one of my top 5. Another one last year, a top 5 moment was when Rex made that turn on Kyle Roberts. It was shattering just before he left to go on to other things, And unfortunately, Kyle Roberts didn't get a conclusion to that, really.
No.
So
Rex ran off. He
did.
He tucked tail and
he
left.
did.
He didn't want to. I mean, I don't know if it was because he didn't want to face Kyle again, or because Kyle. You got to admit, when that happened, Kyle lost it. I mean, Kyle. We saw a more aggressive Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Roberts.
You know, and not just that, but after that, something kind of trigger switch or something, and Kyle, he disappeared for a little while.
He did.
And now he's a whole nother kind of thing coming to the ring and fighting nowadays.
Absolutely.
Another match would be Derek Stone winning that World League Wrestling title after being gone for so long.
Yeah, but what do you expect from Derek Stone?
Exactly. I mean, and it's always, and that's another thing. You never expect exactly what he's going to do because he changes himself up every single time. You know, it's pretty cool to see a veteran like that knowing what to do in the right spot at the right time.
In the right spot at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Number 4, number 4 would be that Jaden Dominic Rose match with Leland Race, with Kurt Angle as the special referee, when Kurt Angle slammed JDR. That was a poppin' moment for everybody in the arena. And then the match that we all were wanting to see, the match that absolutely 100% delivered in every aspect, was from Night of Champions 4.
I know where you're going.
And that was Leland Race versus one NWA champion, Nick Aldis. Man, we popped. We popped so hard when we all thought that, Leland Race had won the title. Oh my God.
It's funny that you mentioned that. You want to know why it's funny?
Why is that funny?
Because next Sunday, right here on WLW Amplify, our next guest will be the national treasure, Nick Aldis.
Now, see, that is absolutely awesome.
And there it is right there. The national treasure, Nick Aldis, right here next Sunday at 4 o'clock Central, right here on WLW Amplify. You don't want to miss it. Nick Aldis will be here.
I'm amazed by how he has elevated that championship back to its national prominence of what it once was.
And you got to figure too. Well, Nick Aldis has trained at WLW.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Aldis was Nick Aldis has a whole lot of respect for wrestling, and he had a whole lot of respect for Harley Race. You can tell that by the humility he had during that interview that they did for the 10 pounds of gold with Harley.
Yeah.
With Nick holding his and Harley having his side by side, that was history.
It was.
That belt wasn't prominent for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And Harley held that belt 8 different times.
8.
Nick Aldis, in my opinion, for what the NWA is, because you can't really call it a national program.
Not yet, but it's getting there.
I think it will be one day, absolutely. But that belt has been defended all over. He even accepted Leland's challenge for the title.
Yep.
But my point to this is Nick Aldis has been a very, very good champion.
He has
and
been.
has really showed that belt the respect that it
and like you
have.
said, he's taken on all comers all over the world with that belt, even as far away as in China. So again, he's bringing that belt back to the prominence of what it once was.
Well, it was defended all over the world. It was called the World Championship for a reason.
For a reason,
well,
absolutely.
And it's it shows just how smart Nick Aldis is as a champion and how strong of a champion he is. The fact that before NWA was even opening up its doors for people to come watch their shows, he was traveling around the country with that world title belt, putting it on a line against the region's toughest wrestlers. And what he did was he built that belt right back up in prominence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so that when they started their show, they had a true champion that could stand in front of that camera and say, "I've earned this. I've proven myself." You know, and to know that he even come through here and defended in Harley's house.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick came.
against
Camilla was
Leland
here.
Race.
Camilla was here.
Well, and she even looked to get involved to help him keep
David,
it.
yeah, that's true, and she got clothesline for it. David Marquez was here.
Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan was here. I mean, we had a house.
We did.
And you know, you hear people talk about it, and I've said it before, and they're like, Billy Corgan in Troy, Missouri, in Moscow Mills.
He sure was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He came
Fur
out
coat
here.
and everything.
That's right.
Fur coat, baseball cap.
I know. I like to joke and say he blended right in with the AstroTurf that was.
Yeah, pretty much.
That, he could just tuck in and out and hide wherever
That's
he wanted to.
So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back. And when we come back, Sarge, I want to talk about some of your experience in the being in the crowd, and you guys as your little group down there, hooting and hollering so loud all the time, right there. And they're always
love to make noise.
and they're always in the front row. So we'll be back right after this short break.
Jim Trinary Ford in Moscow Mills, Missouri has knowledgeable sales staff and expert service technicians dedicated to delivering the best possible customer service from any Ford dealership in the region. Subscribe to our channel for comprehensive vehicle walkarounds, test drives, and model-specific how-to videos, which will give you a glimpse into the passion we have for these vehicles and the real difference the Jim Trinary experience makes. Stay up to date on the newest technology, features, models, and news from Jim Trinary Ford, where our huge inventory means we'll have the perfect vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Our seasoned team of sales and service experts can get you in, out, and on with your day without the pressure you'll feel at the other dealerships. Subscribe to our channel and stop by to see the difference the Jim Trinary experience can make today.
World League Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
He has Stefan in his corner.
World League Wrestling. This is where sports entertainment stops. This is where pro wrestling will always live.
Welcome back to the show. We're here in studio with Sarge, one of our super fans, and wonderful tailgater. I gotta tell him that. Oh, speaking of your tailgates, I gotta tell the story.
Sure.
Teddy Long,
Oh God, yes. I love that dude.
you guys hooked everybody up that night. I mean, there was barbecue and cobbler and everything was out there, and Teddy Long walked out there like just an average everyday Joe. And am I lying when I say his plate was that damn high?
Oh yeah, it was like 3 to 6 inches deep.
Sat down in
And
a
I loved
chair
it.
right in the middle of all the
Everybody.
fans.
Yep.
And just sat there and ate his barbecue and cobbler and talked to everybody like
Yep.
they were long lost buddies.
Yeah.
He was like,
It was very cool.
so yeah. Tell us about that for you?
You know, it was,
What was it like to have Teddy Long come out and oogle over the cobbler in your barbecue?
man, that was a goosebump moment. Actually, it's one of those moments that you will always remember for the rest of your life. And and at first everybody was real quiet. Nobody really knew what to say and everything like that. And it was Teddy Long that actually started the conversations about the barbecue and how much that he was enjoying it. And it just morphed from there to life things that's been going on.
Yeah.
And, he sat out there with us for a good 20 to 30 minutes, if not a little bit longer.
I think it was closer to an hour.
Yeah.
He was out there quite a ways. But my point to that is, this is the kind of experiences you get at World League Wrestling.
Absolutely.
We have people come in, and I mean, and believe it or not, everybody that we've had come in has just been, you know, top notch, man.
And that's from all walks of life too.
Yeah, Animal to Chris Masters.
Yeah.
You know, they were all very, very helpful, very nice, very, you know, would talk and had a good time and interact with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is the experience you get at a World League Wrestling
It's a personable
show.
experience, and it's things that, like I said, that you will remember for the rest of your life, and you can't beat those kind of moments.
No, you can't. I mean, I remember when I was first training, and I wasn't working the parking lot anymore, but we had Ricky Steamboat, of all people. Ricky Steamboat. There in the crowd, he was a guest referee then. I think he was coming to be a guest referee, and it didn't happen. I'm not sure, but I know that on that night I got to sit between Harley Race and Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
And watch 2 or 3 matches and get to watch both of them interact with the fans, and it taught me a lot. Just sitting beside the 2 learning trees there, the matches that those 2 put on together. You know, the weight of it, and to see them come up and have the fans come up, and all the fans are nervous, and they help put the fans at ease. They you know, treat them like their brother right off of the street, and it was really.
I mean, you could be standing in line at concessions with Nick Aldis. You could be standing in line in concessions with, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Teddy come up there, and I think he got some cookies or something, you know, was in line. But you'd be, I mean, it's a personable experience. You're not going to find it in a whole lot of places like that.
No, you're really
World
not.
League Wrestling is the place.
It's right. It is.
It's but it's a testament to the way things are done,
right,
and the attitude and the respect. You know, you're not going to find that as much.
And and that's not just here in Troy, Missouri. That's everywhere World League Wrestling goes. Green Valley, Green Ridge, Richmond.
Yeah.
The home away from home for WLW.
Yeah. So you and Alex and your little group of misfits, constantly right there on the front row.
Always.
That's your spots, your permanent spots at every show, including the Night of Champions and stuff. But man, you guys are some of the loudest, most boisterous, expressive fans I think I've seen in a long time. Not just with like signs and stuff, but chants.
Yeah.
You guys are. Why so hard on John Webb?
Well,
Why?
Because of the change. It's like he doesn't care anymore.
Why hybrid half pint?
Hey, his opponent at that time was one Derek Stone, and Derek Stone came out with that, and then John Webb made that change shortly after that, and it just fit. It fit to what John Webb was doing, and he was being a half pint. He was playing second fiddle to one Derek Stone. And Derek Stone is still to this day pulling those strings.
I was going to say, don't you feel like in the Empire he's still playing second fiddle?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Because, yes, himself and Camaro Jackson captured those tag team belts. But you know what?
John's held the big title.
He has held the big title.
And it doesn't go away from you. It's got to always be in your mind.
You would think. But again, he's playing second fiddle to Derek Stone, and it's as if he's accepting that role. And it's kind of mind-boggling to see that happening with the caliber of John Webb.
Well, I remember when he was here on the show, and one of the things he focused on is the fact that, with a team of John Webb, Camaro Jackson, Derek Stone, that there's no real group or tag team or bunch of friends even that can stand up to the assault that they can put on. They're holding every single one of them's got gold in their hand right now.
Yeah, and with that being said, with them having that gold, they're proving what they're saying every moment they step into the ring now. So it's time for the other wrestlers you know what? If you want to unseat the Empire, you better step your game up, and you better step it up quick.
I know Moses is really desirous to get that tag team title back, and I know that
Colton does too.
Very much so wants to get that tag team
We've
titles back.
we've had them on the show, and it's all about the gold for them. They really want that back.
Absolutely.
Well, I would go on record as saying that they were able to do it once.
If they keep their nose to the grindstone and just keep pushing forward, they keep pushing forward, good things are going to come to them. Well, and especially when you've got now, men like Jaden Dominic Rose, who just made that return to World League Wrestling not too long ago
with a whole new attitude.
That was another one that we fans were all over, because of how he was treating everyone. And John Webb now has gone down that road, like I was saying. But with CTV and Moses, with guys like JDR behind them, and even Sean Patrick is going to start having run-ins with the Empire as a whole because of the whole John Webb situation, wanting that junior title back.
We'll see. We'll see if he goes after that. But speaking of Sean Patrick and Colton and Moses and Raheem and all these guys, these young ones, this Young Lions division, you've watched World League Wrestling for quite a while, and you've seen the transition in from the older wrestlers like Ace Steel and them all the way in Leland to here to what's now to these Young Lions. How does it make you feel as an older fan like that to see this class of Young Lions come up and how they're doing and how they're performing, and does it make you
It puts a
really
pep in my
positive?
step.
Does it really make you really positive for the future of World League Wrestling?
Most definitely. It goes back to what I was saying a little while ago with the word hungry. This group of Young Lions is the hungriest group of young professional wrestlers that I have seen in a very, very long time. And great things are on the horizon for those guys and gals. Because even Elaney, Harley, she is a tremendous woman in that ring. And to see her get in the face of like one Derek Stone or John Webb or even Jack Gamble and all these other guys. I gotta
stop because I sit there and I always mention CTV and them, but I always neglect to mention Elaney, and I should really always mention her in the very exact same sentence as I do them, because to watch her growth and see what she's doing in the ring now, since we don't have any female competitors at this point, and she's unable to compete, to watch her pitch in and do her job as a referee, man, that's commendable.
It's a tremendous thing to be watching right now.
Yeah,
it really is.
And I don't know, is that our first female referee?
I can't say for certain, but I think so, yes. The thing about Elaney that gets me is that she definitely wants to be a pro wrestler, and you can't knock her as a referee either.
No.
She's a great referee already in her own right. But I'm just waiting for that cup to run over. Because she's got a lot of go in her, and she, sooner or later, one of these guys is going to pop off. And,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm like I said, I'm just waiting for that cup to run over on someone. I'll be right there ringside when it happens, clapping and cheering her on.
Yep, absolutely.
So Elaney Harley. Oh yeah, we got also Alex. I should say that I would give Elaney that match. Alex Med thinks that we should have a 6-man tag match between the Empire, JDR, CTV, and Moses.
Yeah.
I believe that would be really great. I would love to see how Elaney handles a 6-man tag.
That would be interesting because you've got all kinds of combustible elements going on in that match.
It's one of the toughest jobs as a referee is to keep it moving smooth and keep it a fair contest when there's 6 people out there.
And trying to keep eyes on 6 different people It's a hard job to do.
Well, you can't do it really. You almost have to try and tap into a sixth sense that a lot of times I don't feel I have. You know.
Right. So Sarge, who is your favorite WLW referee, and why is it Martin Kadich?
Well, funny you should say that. My favorite one would be one Richard White.
Right, good old Richard. Well, you know,
and that's awesome with Richard too, because he and I have been keeping still in contact since he's been down in Florida, and he absolutely misses World League Wrestling.
Yeah, well, you know what? Richard was one of those from the school that wanted to step out and expand in his wings and fly on his own a little bit and see what he could do. And he's working for a couple of different promotions from what I heard.
Yeah, down there in Florida. Yep.
And I'm happy for him. That's fantastic.
There's an old adage that said, and I remember someone saying it not too far back at Night of Champions. I won't quote the man, but he said, you know, if you stay home, you never really grow up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Richard's doing right now is he's growing up. He's getting out there on the road. He's taking it, you know, on his own. A lot of times here in our area, he would go with the World League people to the other promotions, and he would work the other promotions and have them there. And now he's out there, he's standing on his own, you know, without the added support, and showing that he can do it without other people backing him up.
Yeah, and he's done well at it,
you know,
from what I understand. So
I'm proud of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to learn under the tree with him.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Young Lions, you've got to see the, you know, like Colton and Elaney and Moses and Raheem and Sean Patrick and all this class that came up. But we have a brand new class going through the academy now that you haven't really had a chance you haven't seen in action or training or getting ready. And I can tell you that this new class that's coming through in the next year is going to be just as exciting as the class we just got out. Our roster is going to be
and that's the thing, you know. And I have met a couple of the guys that are going through it right now, and it seems to me again that you guys have another group coming up that is just as hungry as this previous group that just came through. So we're gonna have great professional wrestling with World League Wrestling for many, many, many years to come.
I think so. I think when Harley passed, people might have gotten worried about what was going to happen, but I feel like,
with reason,
yeah, absolutely. But I feel like we've grown. Even, you know, in his absence, we've kept his ideals, we've kept his way of business, we kept, you know, doing it Harley's way, and it's proven to be a winning formula because we're now on, I think when Harley passed, we were on one station. We're now on 4 television stations in 3 different markets.
Yeah.
And we're growing.
Absolutely.
You know, we added this show. We're going to do other things. There's a lot of things that we're doing now that we weren't doing before. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and announce this coming Thursday evening at 8:00. If you remember, a week or two ago, Martin and I were live doing commentary and interacting with the fans during Thursday night showdown.
That was a fun night.
Well, this Thursday night coming up, we're doing it again.
That's awesome. Get ready, folks.
So Thursday night, 8:00, right here on the World League Wrestling Facebook page and YouTube. Martin and I will be live with you doing commentary and interacting with you, the fans. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I guarantee it.
I'm ready. I'm excited. I wanna go off on the referee whenever I'm reffing. It's just something that I see the most faults in myself, and I wanna just sit there and tell you what I think of that ref.
But you know what? You know what the biggest thing about you right now? The biggest thing, the biggest improvement with one Martin Kadich, he now has a referee shirt that fits.
Oh, you're gonna get on that now. I'm gonna have to say something.
Man, all right, we're not going there.
A certain man's
No,
been in your ear.
we're not going there. We're not going there. But what is your... All right, super fan. We have a World League Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. We have a World League Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Championship. And we have a World League Wrestling Tag Team Championship.
Sure.
One by one.
Yep.
I want you to predict
Okay.
the next champions for those. Your predictions.
The next champions. Oh my. That's a tough one
I hear
right
you.
there.
Start with the heavyweight.
You want me to start with the heavyweight? Okay. What I would love to see is a match between one Jaden Dominic Rose and Derek Stone, and I think I really truly believe that Jaden Dominic Rose has the skills to pull off that win against Derek Stone and become a champion.
What would he need to do to defeat Derek Stone?
You know, fight fire with fire. That's all I'm going to say. That fight fire with fire. If he's got one John Webb and Camaro Jackson out there at the ringside, maybe he needs to have CTV and Moses come out there too.
Well, you know they will be, or at least they're going to be really available. I guarantee it.
Yeah, definitely. It have to be. They have to be.
So you predict JDR?
I think JDR to the next.
What about Steve? Superstar Steve just came back, and he seems to be hot and heavy after.
He is hot and heavy, and that was an awesome match that he had with Derek Stone.
How about a number one contenders match between Superstar Steve and Jaden Dominic Rose?
You know, I think
I'm just throwing stuff at the wall here.
I think there's a potential there that it could very well be a triple threat match between
I'm not into
those three.
I want to see mano y mano.
You know, again with both of those wrestlers just came back,
which is one of my problems with today's wrestling.
Yeah.
If you watch, like WWE is famous for this. Everything turns into a triple threat, 4-corner, 10-man, 5-man, whatever. Everything turns into that. What happened to the old days when it was mano y mano?
You know, and
Go at it like Harley would. Just, you know.
Definitely. You know, I love Superstar Steve's attitude change now too. But again, I really think that JDR gets by Superstar Steve in a match of those two, and goes on to face Derek Stone.
So even with that, you still say JDR?
I still think JDR. I do. Okay. And there's no knock on Superstar Steve, by any means.
You're right. Go ahead.
No, I was going to kind of chime in on the triple threat match. You know, one of the beauties of a triple threat match is that I can go ahead and not worry about them punching each other in the face. You know, because I do every now and again. The committee will get after me because I let them fight. You know, I like to, if they're going to start throwing punches, then they're going to start throwing punches. If they're both throwing punches, well, that's a fair competition in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
it's like when it's a triple threat match, all of that little muddiness of what's right and what's wrong gets kind of cleared up, and they get to just go at it.
I mean, I get that from a wrestler standpoint, but from a referee standpoint, that's fine. That's the business end. But from a fan standpoint, I want to see mano y mano.
Well, if it from a fan standpoint for me, if it's a triple threat match, it may as well be 4 men in the ring so that everybody's busy.
Yeah, there's that. Know?
So with that being said, if we had those 3 men that I mentioned, who would be your 4th person to be in that mix?
Who would be the 4th person to be in the mix of the world title?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Jack Gamble because he put on a hell of a match. Last
I didn't think about that.
3 or 4 times he's been in the ring, and he's actually on a roll right now.
He really is on a roll. You're absolutely right.
I'll throw something in there for a 4th person. Think about this. What if the big man himself, Camaro Jackson, got put in that somehow? Even with them being on the same team, you're talking about two powerhouses.
Yeah. That could
Matter of
cause some
fact,
rifts
Camaro
in the
Jackson,
Empire, though.
I would venture to say Camaro Jackson is probably the strongest man we have on the roster.
I would guarantee. I would definitely say
How would that
yeah.
be for
I
a
would.
fourth
I would
corner?
go along with you on that one. He is the strongest one on the roster, I think.
Okay, so junior heavyweight.
Junior heavyweight.
Next
I'm a
champion.
huge fan of Sean Patrick. I mean, what
Yeah, but
he's
he's got
been
it now.
doing.
Who's the next champion?
He holds on to it for a very long time. I'm just saying. But the next one, I could see Raheem De La Suede capturing that belt somewhere down the line. Maybe not right now, but later on down the line, I can see him pulling off
He's
a
made
win.
tremendous strides.
He just beat Sean Patrick
right.
at the last event, so it can be done.
Right.
It can be done. But the question is, with him and the trust fund baby being in his corner, just about anything.
Who's another
is,
one that you cannot sleep on?
No, you can't. You can't.
Cannot sleep on him.
You cannot.
Stefan Newton, although arrogant, very self-centered, his head is huge. You can't sleep on him.
No,
But
you can't.
what about this one? What about Sean Patrick versus Colton Theron Vaught for the junior?
That's a main event anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the energy that CTV brings.
Yeah.
The question is can Sean Patrick match it? And
I think he can.
I think he can too. So that would definitely be a match that I would want to definitely see.
Alex said put Hendricks in there with Sean. I would like to see ZC Hendricks, but I think right now ZC Hendricks is I mean, Sean destroyed him.
Right. It was
Quick, but then again, Sean was in a different frame of mind. He was worried.
He was.
He had something going on with 2.0 at that time, and 2.0 was playing games, and I think Sean just lost his mind because normally that would not have happened to ZC on that, and it would have been a much a closer match. But also, ZC Hendricks, he's not living up to his full potential. He's got a lot of potential, but he's in kind of a slump right now.
right.
Yeah, he is in a slump.
I think if we could get if he could get just a couple of wins under his belt, get a couple of W's, and I think you're going to see a different ZC Hendricks.
You could very well. You could very well see that.
Well, I'd like to add, we're talking about the junior heavyweight title. And right now there's one young man who has not been mentioned in this race.
I'm listening.
He's got more victories over the other young lions than any other young lion, and that's Moses. Plus, we've never seen Sean Patrick versus Moses.
Yeah, you haven't seen that.
And for
That could
all
be
of the
good.
young lions, in training, in the ring at a show, he seems to me to have the most answers to things that can get thrown at him.
Well, that's
So-
why, and I think that's another real reason why Moses and CTV became the tag team champions.
Well, we're getting close to the end here. Real quick, who holds the next tag team? Who's the next tag team champions? Who's going to take it from Camaro Jackson and John Webb?
I think that CTV and Moses has a real good chance of doing that. If they keep their heads on straight, keep plugging forward, they'll take those titles back.
And yes, Alex, I agree. Moses and CTV are a good tag team. Matter of fact, they're a great tag team.
They're a damn good tag team.
Do you see any surprise teams in your mind?
One team that I would like to see actually start doing something together is Superstar Steve and SB, since they came back together again not too long ago. So if they get together on this, they could very well take the tag titles from
They
the
had those
Empire as well.
championships a little over a year ago.
Yes.
So yeah, that could happen. Anyhow, any last words? Any last plugs? Anything you want to say before we head on off to the sunset?
Yeah, again, on Saturday mornings, myself and Alex Med, along with Real Rock Turbock and General Patton on KYRO 105.3 FM, 1280 AM at 10 o'clock in the morning inside the Squared Circle. And then also myself and Alex Med, along with our partner G5, have a gaming show that we do at noon on the same station. And that's been a lot of fun over the last 3 or 4 weeks, talking about console games, arcade games, board games, card games, everything gaming that you can think of.
Very cool. Alex just said something that's pretty interesting. Jaden and Steve as tag champs.
If they could be on the same page.
It could happen. Now,
the two, Steve's attitude doesn't match up well with the Heartthrobs.
Mm-hmm.
I get to spend a little bit of time around the Heartthrob, and he would want to be the tag team champion himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Since his last partner kind of dipped into the acting roles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He's kind of like a rudderless warship.
See, that's also a question. Where does Jaden go from here?
I don't know, but we'll find out.
Yes, we will.
So I want to thank Sarge for coming in today.
Oh, thank you, brothers. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
We going to get dinner after this?
Most definitely.
Okay, and then we're playing D&D.
Of course.
Oh, I said it again, didn't I? Anyhow,
we're gonna have to do an Amplify for D&D at some point.
No, I don't think the committee will let us. I want to thank our sponsors: Jim Chineri Chevrolet in Troy, Jim Chineri Ford in Moscow Mills, Impact Digital Designs,
CT Harrison Business Solutions, and Traveling East Productions.
It's been another Sunday. We will see you. Make sure and go to. We're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're all over the place. Go find us on there and like and follow. Make sure and go to www.harleyrace.com for all your merchandise. Get some hats and T-shirts and mugs and all that stuff.
Tickets to the next event.
Tickets to the next event. You can find out everything from that website as well as our Facebook page, and we'll keep you up to date as best we can on that. Remember the 29th. The 29th at McDinger's will be. Why is that not coming up? There it is. The 29th at McDinger's. Dinder? Wow, I can't even. I'm getting my merds wixed. At McDinger's, just north of Troy and Eolia, we will be live with a World League Wrestling event. What am I missing? Oh, yes. Next Sunday, here on Amplify, 4 o'clock Central Time, our guest will be none other than the NWA heavyweight champion, Nick Aldis. So you don't want to miss that. And other than that, I don't know what else to say or do, but Martin, is always fun, big fun. Sarge, thanks for coming. I guess we'll see you guys next Sunday.
For certain.
Oh, and actually, we'll see you Thursday night. You and I will see them Thursday night for Thursday Night Showdown, 8 o'clock p.m., right here on the Facebook page. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then. Have a great evening. Have a great rest of your day. We love you, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
World League Wrestling with memory of Harley Race.
Get in the ring with us. It is over before it started.